One time I had a boss and she was kind of stupid, and we got these holiday sweaters, and one of them said yippee-ki-yay on it. And she was like, oh, wow, I know that saying. It's a military thing. Back when I was in the military. I was like, okay, sure. And then she was like, well, it's more of a Christmas thing now. We say it to each other on Christmas when we were in the military. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's from Die Hard. I had never seen the movie, of course. And I tried to tell her that, and she didn't believe me. She said that I was wrong. And then I found out that she was lying about having kids. So who knows if she knew that this was from Die Hard, but yippee-ki-yay. Let's get into the episode. My name is Brandon, and with me, as always, Jolly David.
Welcome back, hoes.
We are in the Christmas spirit.
We are, and I know literally last episode, I mentioned that maybe we should come up with holiday names.
I ended up cutting that out.
I completely forgot.
So, it's okay. But now this is staying in. So, now everybody's going to get to see
now I look like an idiot.
Behind the curtain. So, we have Jolly David here, and I don't know what you want to call me.
Joined by Brandon the Laughing Clown. I don't know how that's Christmas. Wait.
Ooh. I don't know how that's Christmas either, but I do feel like a laughing clown most
Brand
days.
Elf.
Ooh, okay.
Brand Elf.
I like
there
this.
There we go. That's the best I can come up with.
That's pretty good.
I literally forgot.
I like Jolly David. That was the first thing I said last week, and it just sounds good. And David is extra jolly today because he put on his favorite shirt on purpose. You're killing me, Smalls.
You stole saying it from me.
For
How
this
dare
very
you.
special Christmas episode.
And I will say, I will admit that I put it on purpose this time.
Yes.
Because you got to end the year with the shirt on.
Exactly. So, as opposed to the shirt off, which we don't really take off our shirts on the podcast. You wouldn't be able to tell if we did, but maybe we will this episode. Who knows? Anything's possible. It's Christmas time.
Maybe if we ever do a live show. Maybe that'll be the time.
That's what to look forward to. We got to get ripped before we take our shirts off. I know I'm not.
We got to either get ripped or we got to get as skinny as Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
Oh my God. Yeah. That is crazy. Way to bring it back to pop culture,
Exactly. We got to include it.
What a crazy time we are living in.
All I'm going to say is
there's something going on there.
That would never happen in Armenia. Yes, I brought it up first because the Armenian grandmothers would force feed them every single day.
God damn it. I didn't even, I wasn't locked in this week on the Armenia reference, but shout out to Jennifer. So I beat you to that.
Great.
Wow.
Great.
Pretty good.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
You won.
What? I ended up on top somehow.
That's true. That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say it if you didn't. Anyway, we have a great episode for you today. We got a Christmas movie, maybe the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Right. We'll debate that, I'm sure. We got an album, or wait, do we? No, we have 12 songs that we chose, specifically 6 of them chosen by David, 6 of them chosen by me. I put them in an order because I thought this order would be the most fun to talk about. So we will talk about them shortly. But first, I got to ask you, David, what have you watched in the past week?
I was going to talk about one movie, because it's included in my top 10. But then I decided to actually keep it a surprise. So I'm not going to talk about that. Instead, I'm going to talk about School of Rock, because we rewatched it. For those of you who don't know, which is literally everyone, I think, School of Rock is actually the first movie that Jennifer and I saw together. So it's very special. But then it's also just a very good movie. So we rewatched it because it's been 2 years since we watched it, roughly around the time, because it was November. And yeah, it was just as good the second time as it was the first. It's a 4.5, honestly. Probably will go up to a 5 because it's a perfect movie. And it has some of the best lines ever, including You're Tacky and I Hate You.
I did not know that was from that movie. That's crazy. I figured that was like Mean Girls or something like that.
I mean, it comes from a boy that's being mean to the main character, and I love it. With that, I have to ask you, what have you been listening to? And what is your song of the week?
So you know what? We had another one of these weeks where I thought I was going to have nothing to talk about, and I ended up having some things to talk about. So this is pretty crazy. I'm going back through all of the albums that I missed this year and trying to finish them before our year in review kind of episode, but that's not going to happen. But I got really close, I will say. I think I ended up only having like 6 or 7, I'm doing the 6-7 motion right now, albums that, you're welcome to everyone for putting that in your head. Otherwise, if I didn't acknowledge it, somebody else would have. So, I have to.
That's
anyway,
true.
I only had a few albums left that I'm not going to be able to listen to, but it's okay because they weren't going to make my top 10 anyway. But I ended up listening to an album that I would like to recommend to you specifically, David.
Ooh.
This album is called World Over by Low Swimmer. Low Swimmer is all one word. And now the reason I want to recommend this to you, I love Low Swimmer. He's like an indie folk artist. He works with Novo Amor, but this album is not really an album. It's a soundtrack to a documentary he made. And it combines both his regular music that's more subdued and quiet to go with this movie with all of these beautiful, like instrumental, kind of orchestral pieces. And I think you will love it. And it's for a documentary. I haven't watched this documentary because it's only in the UK right now, but I think it might be on YouTube. So I would like to watch it at some point. It's about his decision to stop touring as a musician and what it was doing to his mental health. And the music is really like dark but it's very cool. And I think you would really enjoy it. It's great writing music as well.
I'm going to have to listen because I'm very intrigued. I also did want to throw out that I have a list of like 20 movies that I did not get to see from this year that probably would have made my top 10. So I'm kind of screwed.
Well, we'll talk about that in maybe an hour or so when you're listening to this, everyone.
Ooh.
But we'll get there. Hint, hint.
We'll get there.
If you're listening to this after like 3 a.m. Central Time, then you probably already know what the present is that we're giving you at the end of this episode. But we'll get there.
Bow wrapped present.
You're killing me, Smalls. Anyway, I'm going to just work that in whenever I see it on the screen. Anyway, my song is called Ride by Brevin Kim. They are a duo of brothers from Boston. They make hip hop music, except not really. And it's kind of everything else that surrounds hip hop, but now they're like combining it with everything else. And this is going to be part of a project that I assume is dropping next year called Boy Band. Anyway, the song's called Ride, and it's really cool. It's like an indie song that is also produced like a pop song, that it's also like with the style of like early 2010s music. Like when we listen to Two Door Cinema Club, it's like that, but it's produced like a pop song. And it's very cool, and I highly recommend. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, Ride by Brevin Kim. I will say, though, none of their other music sounds like that. They're very experimental with their genres, which I appreciate because I like to not be tied down to one specific thing and kind of just explore whatever. And that's what they have been doing. And with that, I think it's time to get into our mixtape this week. I have no background information on this because David and I threw this together back in July. That's how much we are planning out.
Literally.
And you know what? For everyone listening to this episode, specifically on Spotify, I don't know if this works on other podcast services. I haven't looked into it, but we're going to link the playlist on Spotify. We'll probably put it in our link tree as well. So if you want to listen to these specific 12 songs that we chose in the order that we're going to be talking about them, then you are able to do that. And you are welcome. That's your Christmas gift. One of your Christmas gifts from us.
One of two. Your less special one.
Now we need to talk about someone who is one of one, and that is the artist of our first song, Michael Bublé, with It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. And you know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to say who chose the song. So this song was chosen by David, and the song was written by Meredith Wilson, produced by David Foster. And now I'd like to say, Michael Bublé pivoting to Christmas music might have been the best decision for his career. He has that kind of like old style voice that just is perfect for like traditional pop, which is Christmas time, you know?
Didn't it kind of save his career?
I'm pretty sure it did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this album was like, what, 2013 or 2014? And at that point, I hadn't really heard any of his music on the radio since like 2010. So I think it kind of did. He's a beloved figure now.
True.
Shout out Canada.
Shout out.
I wouldn't say that it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas is a tier 1 Christmas song, but I do think this is probably the best version that I've heard of this song. I think Michael Bublé works really well with this song.
I agree.
I ended up giving this a 2.5 just because I don't like love the song that much, but it's all right. It's decent. Like, I'm not going to turn this off, you know? It's a must have in a Christmas playlist, you know? I'm not going to like say it shouldn't be there.
First of all, I do really like Michael Bublé singing Christmas songs. I think his voice just works with them in general, and especially with this song. And I do agree that it's the best version. I also wanted to say, I do agree that this is like a tier 2 Christmas song. But as someone that really likes Christmas songs, that makes it really work for me because it gets me excited for Christmas. This is a 4. Like, I do really enjoy listening to this, and this is hands down the best version. I don't think I've heard a version of this song that's anywhere near as good as this. And we will see, going forward, some of the versions of other songs, in my opinion, were kind of the worst versions. So, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I did want to ask you, since this isn't an album, I didn't like predict what your favorite song would be or what your score would be. I do want to ask you, though, you definitely had a favorite out of all of these songs. Was this your favorite, or are there other ones that are better?
This was not. My favorite Christmas Carol of all time is in this album. Not my favorite version, but the song is so good that it kind of works regardless. So that is my favorite song. Do you have a favorite or like a least favorite here?
I do have both.
Okay. Because I do also have a least favorite.
Okay, nice.
Exciting.
Track number 2, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You. This one was chosen by David as well, and this is where I would like to say, we chose 5 songs each that we loved, that we wanted to hear, and 1 song each that we did not like at all, but we must talk about. And this was David's choice for one that he didn't really like.
I wanted to say, the reason I chose it is because it's everywhere and it gets so annoying, and it gets stuck in your head and it gets so annoying. That's the reason. Because, and I don't know if you want me to start talking about what I think of it now.
Go ahead. I just got to tell you that it was written and produced by Mariah Carey and Walter Afanasieff. I don't know if that's how you say his name. My apologies.
So the reason I chose this is because it gets stuck in your head. It gets so annoying. Even though I think the song itself is actually a pretty good song. Like, I don't hate the song itself. Just the fact that it's literally everywhere and gets stuck in your head every single freaking year. Like, if I was listening to the song without that context, I'd be like, hey, this is a fun Christmas song. So that's why I chose this song. That's literally the only reason.
I think that's a fair choice. I will say that I dislike Mariah Carey and I've always hated this song. So I don't really have that kind of view of it, I guess. I'm not sure why this is necessarily the biggest Christmas song
I don't
ever,
get it either.
like every year. Like, it's fine, but there are so many more modern Christmas songs that are better, like modern original Christmas songs too. I will say that this song kind of did get me at first, and I was like, you know what? It's kind of fun. But ultimately, I do find it annoying. And this is where I would like to say one thing that will come up one other time. So anyway, my local planetarium did, or maybe still does, a holiday laser show. And this is one of the songs that they play every year with it. And the story behind the song is that Mariah Carey's boyfriend or husband is in a war, and she wants him to come back, presumably from the Middle East, because that's where we're always fighting a war for some reason. Anyway, this song is a 2. I do not like it, but it is not the worst. I would turn it off, though.
Again, as I said, I think the song is solid. I don't hate the song itself. I think it honestly is a 3.5, but the fact that it gets played so much brings it all the way down to a 2.5 because I get so annoyed with it. And I want to turn it off. So I'm kind of sticking with the 2.5, giving it that just because of how annoyed I am with the song.
That's fair. I was assuming this would be a 2.5 for you, so I should have said that.
Perfect. Nice.
Now we move on to track number 3, Sufjan Stevens. That was the worst Christmas ever. This one was chosen by me. It was written and produced by Sufjan Stevens, who is a connection to a sample on To Pimp a Butterfly, if you remember.
True.
And then also, I'm in a giving spirit right now, and I'm going to tell everyone that we will be doing a Sufjan Stevens album at some point in this season. So look forward to that. Now, I want to ask you, have you ever heard this song before? I assume no.
I have not. I had no idea that Stevens had even written a Christmas song.
Much less an album that is like 2 hours, maybe longer.
What?
Yeah.
A Christmas album?
Yes. It's a collection of like, he did a Christmas album of like 8 songs, I guess, every year for like 6 years or something like that for his friends and family. And then he put it into like a compilation album, and it's huge. He's also a devout Christian. So no shout out to Christianity,
True.
But you get the idea.
Yeah, I am shocked. I had no idea.
So I wanted to ask you to go first on this one because you had never heard this before. What did you think?
Well, I literally wrote that I had no idea that Sufjan Stevens had written a Christmas song, much less an album. So that was my first note. But I liked it. I think it's a very nice, very, quiet Christmas song. It doesn't like blow me away or catch me the way that I want a Christmas song to, but it's still a 3.5. I think it's just a really nice, quiet song.
I found the song in high school when I was kind of discovering my love for indie music. And this has always been my favorite kind of like folky Christmas song, like a more modern one.
Right.
I think Sufjan Stevens is kind of hit or miss for me, but when his music is working, I think he's one of the top 3 songwriters at creating sad, bittersweet, nostalgic songs that feel like memories. And to me, this is kind of a perfect example of that. It's like, what if Christmas was a little sad? And I like that. You know what? I'm going to say this is a 4.5 for me. I'm a fan.
Wow, that's very high.
This is not technically my favorite song for one reason, but we'll get there.
I'm excited.
Track number 4, Harry Brama, Choir of All Saints, Margaret Street, London, Henry Parks and Paul Brow. People, Look East. That's the song. All of those people are the artist beforehand.
They're
Sorry,
all
I should
looking
have
east.
clarified that. They are looking east. That's a lot of people looking east. This one was chosen by David. It was written by Eleanor Farjan and Harry Brama. I have never heard of this before, and it sounds sick as hell. That's what I wrote. And I wanted to ask you, what is this song? How did you find it? And what's the story here?
I kind of grew up listening to this song. I think it's like a folk song or something like that. I grew up listening to this. I was in choir in middle school. My mom was the choir teacher, so we also sang this song. So I know the song very well, and I really like this song. And here is where this might be controversial, but I gotta say, I adore this song, but this rendition was hot garbage, and I absolutely hate it. They butchered it. I'm sorry. This rendition is literally a 1 for me.
Damn.
Which is like, I think one of the lowest scores I've given. This is my least favorite song just because of the way they did it.
Holy
Like, I
shit,
think-
that's crazy.
Yeah. Because I'm like this, at least the way I feel about it, this song should be sung so simply. And they made it grandiose as hell. And they also
You don't
like
want
didn't,
the choir?
no. And I don't want the organ.
Interesting.
And I'm also like, they butchered the melody. So I'm sad. This made me so sad.
I don't have anything to compare this to necessarily. If you find a version,
Yeah.
definitely send it to me because I would like to hear what you think, because I ended up giving this a 3.
I'm like, I could see
And I
if you don't
liked
know the
this.
song, this really working. If I didn't know this song, it would work more for me. But I am going to find a version and send it to you because I want your opinion.
Okay, nice.
We'll see.
And I wrote one other note for this song. These are the moments where I'm like, damn, I get why people like religion. Imagine seeing a choir perform this in the 1200s and being like, God is present with us, but the whole time you're just feeling what it's like to hear live music. You know, something to think about.
I agree. Because I know I said I don't like the choir in this, but generally, I do think that choirs sound really freaking awesome.
I will say that I think this choir sounds good. I don't know what they did to butcher the song necessarily, but I think whatever this is, I enjoyed. And like seeing this live in a church would be like really cool.
I guess I gotta like protect myself and say that I do like choirs, and I think this is a good choir, even though I don't like their version. And I do like listening to them because they sound freaking awesome, especially when it's like a bunch of monks in robes in like a dark room and shit like that. That sounds amazing.
Track number 5, David Foster, Carol of the Bells, instrumental. This one was chosen by me, is written by David Foster. And I didn't do any research into this, but I'm like 99% sure that David Foster is the same one that produced the first song we did this week, the Michael Bublé one.
I think so. I don't know.
Because he does other Christmas music.
Right.
But I chose this one because similar to Mariah Carey's song, I always heard this song at the Holiday Laser Show. But Carol of the Bells is my favorite Christmas song of all time. I love it. I love the instrumental particularly because it's minor, it's sad, it's like, ooh, it's longing.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite version of Carol of the Bells. I think it's the best. It's a 4.5. I would say that the Trans-Siberian Orchestra one where they mix like Carol of the Bells, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, I think another one in there is also very good and might be up there. But I do love this. Like, this is the version that I come back to the most. And I think it's so cool. So anyway, this is a 4.5. This is my favorite song.
Brandon, I'm going to break your heart right now.
You can't break my heart. You might hate Carol of the Bells.
Well, the thing is, I absolutely love Carol of the Bells. I think it's one of the best carols ever written. And I hated this version too.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I want the voices and I want the actual bells. My favorite version, ironically, is the Home Alone version that John Williams adapter, whatever you want to call it. I did not dislike this as much as people like East. It's a 2, but it didn't really work for me.
Damn. That's okay. I mean, everybody has their own thing. I like vocals in it, but I've never really liked the lyrics of Carol of the Bells that much. Like, it's fine. It's just kind of like, it doesn't do that much for me. To me, the melody is more impressive. I will say, I think, well, actually, I don't know. I'd have to listen to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra one because I'm pretty sure they have the words of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen in there with just the melody of Carol of the Bells.
You see, that sounds interesting.
But yeah, and God Rest You Merry Gentlemen is underrated. That's a great Christmas carol.
I 100% agree. I think that's one of the best.
And one we didn't include in here because I've never been able to find a version that I love is O Come Emmanuel. That is, top tier.
Oh.
Love that one.
I do like that one too.
I first heard that, I didn't even know what it was until I was 13, I think, in choir in middle school. And I was like, what is this? It sounds really cool. And there is something to be said about hearing a choir sing it. It is really cool, especially with the carols,
That's very true. Were you in choir?
I was, yeah. A religious choir.
Hey,
because,
I was
homeschooled.
start singing together.
I can't sing very well, and I don't think you want to hear that. I need my auto-tune.
I sound even worse. So we'll sound bad together.
Okay, that's all right. We'll record oh my God, we should record a vocal version of our theme song with lyrics
that sounds
are
amazing.
Really bad.
I love it.
We should make it into a carol. Oh my God, maybe we do that next year.
With our voice cracking and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds amazing. I love it.
Track number 6, Dean Martin, Silver Bells. This one was chosen by David, written by Jay Livingston and Ray Evans, and produced by Jimmy Bowen. I know Silver Bells, you know Silver Bells, everybody knows Silver Bells, but somehow I have never heard this version of it. I don't know how, because Dean Martin is very famous. My dad always would play an instrumental version of Silver Bells with a saxophone in it. I don't know who that's by, but that was the one that I grew up listening to. And this song is good. It's always been kind of a similar tier as it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas for me, but this version of it is really good, and it actually elevated the song more than I thought it would. So this is a 3.5 for me. I liked this one.
This song is my favorite Christmas carol of all time. I love it. I'd actually also never heard Dean Martin's version, and I want to say I actually do not have a favorite version. I have not been able to find a version that lives up to the perfect version of the song that's in my head. That being said, I do think Dean Martin's version is very good. It's close to being up there. And this makes me in the it gets me in the Christmas mood, which is ironic because it's LA, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, the trees are green. So it's not at all Christmas here, but it gets me in that mood.
It snowed here last night.
Lucky, you lucky ass. I want snow.
Yeah.
But I mean, it goes without saying, this is a 5. I think this song is perfect, and I think this rendition is close to being perfect. And I say that as someone that likes Dean Martin, but is not the biggest fan. I'm just kind of like, he's fine. But this version slaps.
Yeah, I agree. His voice sounds really good on this one, too.
He does, yeah.
Like, this is the song where I was like, I get it. Like, I get why everybody likes Dean Martin so much.
Ironically, that's like the sound that Michael Bublé is kind of going for, that 50s smooth.
Very true.
Sinatra, Dean Martin sound.
That's why it works so well for him to do Christmas music. Because like I said, like traditional pop is like dead. The only time we listen to it is Christmas time, and it works so well. Like it's just associated with that, you know? We've only listened to like 60s music as far back as you go, but then you can get back to like the 40s and 50s around Christmas time.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It's timeless.
Exactly.
Track number 7, Ember Island, Merry Little Christmas, written by Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine. Now, this is another one that I chose, and I chose it because I wanted to talk about this band. Ember Island was a Swedish band. I don't know if they are technically still around, that mostly did covers, and all of the covers that they did were like full reimaginings of songs that already existed, and they were very cool. And I wanted to make you listen to this version because I think it's very unique versus other versions of this kind of song and holiday music. I always return to this one if I want to listen to Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. This and the Floor version. Shout out Floor. Love them. Much like the Sufjan Stevens song, I think this captures a more melancholy and longing tone to the song more than other versions of it, where it can be kind of like an upbeat, happy song of like, oh, yay, it's Christmas time. And this one feels more like, I hope you have a merry little Christmas because I won't, kind of thing. Anyway, I wanted to get your opinion. What do you think about this before I tell you my score?
I feel like people are going to start calling me a crank because I kind of had the same problem that I had with some of the other songs where I did not really like this version, even though I do like the song.
Shame.
Okay, I will say, I think Christmas carols should be kept very simple, in my opinion. I do not dislike this as much as I disliked the other two, so it's still a 2.5. But I want it to be simpler and more straightforward. I'm vanilla like that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a basic bitch.
That's interesting because you often want like crazy production and stuff in other songs. And now you're like, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's keep it simple, which I get, you know?
I feel like maybe that might be tied to my childhood and just the way that I am used to hearing these songs.
That's very true, yeah.
So that might be it. I don't know.
I feel like once I got into high school, like I've never really been, I guess as I got older, I've never really been that into Christmas. And I've always been trying to find Christmas songs that capture a very specific like winter feeling. And I think this is one of them.
Right.
And I also love to listen to the different versions that come out every year because you're bound to have some like C-list singer from the late 2000s that's like, I need to revitalize my career. Let's put out a Christmas album. And sometimes there's a good version on there. Most of the time not, but you never know.
I will say we are kind of different in that way too, because I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday of all time. I adore it.
That's fair. I think probably by default it would be my favorite because I can't choose President's Day as a real holiday. But no, I don't know. I guess maybe Halloween would be my favorite, but I don't really know. I feel like I'm not like a big like holiday person in general. Just give me a lot of good food. That's kind of why Thanksgiving is kind of so good because
that is true.
God, I love food so much.
Well, I will say also we're adults now, so I feel like we kind of love Christmas and the other holidays at this point just because we don't have to work. That's like the main reason these days.
That's true, yeah. And I was going to say Christmas when you're young is like a magical time. Like that's the thing you're building your world around. It's exactly. Christmas and your birthday.
Commercialism.
And for me, I was lucky I had a few months in between there. It's so interesting to think about how other people like experience the year because your birthday is a lot closer to Christmas than mine is.
Okay, I have gained so much weight because I went from Halloween to Thanksgiving to my birthday and now Christmas is coming up. And there were like other people's birthdays thrown in there too.
We are never taking our shirts off.
Never. Never ever.
Well, it's a good thing we don't have to take our shirts off because track number 8 is Baby It's Cold Outside by Frank Sinatra and Dorothy Kirsten. And boy, is it cold here. It's
Can't relate.
In the like 10s, I think. This song was chosen by David and it was written by Frank Lesser or Loesser. I do not know. I want to say one thing before you get into this song. Remember when they tried to make this song woke?
What?
Also, Grammarly just auto-corrected they to thoughts in the last sentence, and I just had to share that. I did not type thoughts. It was like, this is what you want to say in your Christmas sentence about Baby It's Cold Outside. But anyway, I wanted to say, do you remember when they tried to make this song woke of like, oh my God, it's like rapey? And it kind of is in a way, but also it isn't. We'll talk about that.
In a way.
But like people were like, oh my God, you can't pressure the woman into staying anymore. Which I don't know if is necessarily even the point of the song, but I want to say it was like Meghan Trainor and Michael Bublé that made a version of it that's like politically correct, and it was really weird and bad and like strange. But I will say this version is not much better. But now let's get into your thoughts.
Yeah, I chose the song because I do like this song. It is a little rapey. I do get it.
Yeah,
but the parts that I like about it are like the duet. That's why I think it just works very well. Like, I think it's a very well-written song. I did write that it does feel a little predatory, but I'm also like, I don't know how you would make it better. Like, I don't know if rewriting it would work. I don't know. It definitely is a very like hard song to talk about in a way. I do still like it though. I think it's a well-written song. This version I think it's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of the singing style. I think it's just kind of like okay. It's kind of like that 30s or 40s style. I feel like it would have worked much better in that 50s or 60s style or something like that. But I do still enjoy this song. I did also want to say gulp. This is purely on the strength of like the writing of 4, even though there are a lot of problems with it. That's what I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, I want to tell you my read of this song. I don't think this song is that creepy because I think it's about two people who like are mutually attracted to each other and don't want to commit to it.
That's kind of
it's
my
like,
view
oh,
of
we
it.
really shouldn't, like, oh my God, we're just friends, but like, no, you aren't. And they're both too afraid to admit it, so they're trying to like play this game.
That is kind of the view I've had of the song.
Yeah. I also wrote, what the hell kind of musical theater version of the song is this? It's really weird. It's very over the top. The gulp is, I'm glad you brought that up. Otherwise, I would have had to.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to say this. I must mention that this is the first song that we've heard on the podcast where the recording itself dates the song because it's so low quality. But there's something so special about that low quality recording, because it makes me think of AM radio, which is kind of like a Christmas thing. And it makes me think of FDR and how it must have been crazy to hear the president on the radio every night. We used to be a real country.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
But yeah, it is so cool to listen to like these. They're not lo-fi recordings, but I guess they kind of are.
In a way.
It's just not the quality that we're used to. And it is almost like a holiday time because this is the only time that we're going to listen to these old songs, kind of like what we said before. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Score?
I ended up rating this song a 2.5. I think the song itself is like, it must be in a Christmas playlist. It is a classic. This version though, it can get up to a 3 if there's a better version. I just didn't like it. I like Frank Sinatra. I don't know what Dorothy Kirsten was trying to do. I honestly don't know what either of them were trying to do. It felt like it was from like a sitcom, like a slapstick comedy. It's weird.
To be honest, it didn't even sound like Frank Sinatra to me, which like I didn't even realize it was him.
That is fair, yeah.
Like it didn't sound like his typical style, which I feel like that would work better for the song. And also if it was just straight a song, not a musical theater experience.
Right, yeah. It feels very much like this was made for TV. And maybe it was. I don't really know where this version came from. But this was the most popular version of the song.
I believe that this song was used in a movie or something. So maybe that's why it's like this.
That would make sense. This is when Frank Sinatra is trying to be an actor.
Yeah. And he kind of succeeded.
Kind of, yeah.
In a way.
As we learned about in The Godfather, right? When he was threatening the mafia. Yeah.
We should really give this a 5 so the mafia doesn't come after us.
Great point. 5 out of 5. Moving on to track number 9. The Vince Guaraldi Trio, Christmas Time Is Here, vocal version. This one was chosen by me, but kind of at the request, the mutual understanding that we both wanted to hear this song. Written by Lee Mendelson and Vince Guaraldi. I wrote, this is an absolute heater of a song. Once again, melancholy Christmas songs are the greatest. And of course, this makes me think of Charlie Brown, which was always my favorite thing to watch around Christmas. Charlie Brown special is amazing. And then I wrote, the world was so much better when we were kids. 4.5.
Yeah, so I had never actually heard the song before we chose it, so I was very intrigued.
Wait, you have never heard this?
I don't think I have. Or maybe I have and I forgot about it.
Have you ever watched the Charlie Brown Christmas special?
I actually have not. That's the thing. So that's why I was interested in listening to this, because I wanted to hear it since I've never seen the Charlie Brown Christmas special, which we are going to watch this year.
This was withheld from me when we were making this list.
Yeah, I was going to surprise you. The thing is, so I grew up in a house where
I am surprised.
We never really read Peanuts. We never watched any of the specials. You know, immigrant parents, they didn't really know much about it, stuff like that. So me and Michael also didn't really know about it. That's my brother. Shout out.
Shout out, Armenia.
Shout out, you ass.
Well, you already won. You already mentioned.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. I don't know why I'm getting mad, but pretty much I would hear about it from other people, and then obviously I've seen the Halloween special, I think, I've seen the Thanksgiving special, and I watched it a couple years ago. So that kind of introduced it to me, and obviously now I know the comic stuff like that. But Jennifer's a big fan. She loves Snoopy. So we're going to watch a bunch of specials this year, including the ones that we've missed, like the Halloween one or the Thanksgiving one. All thanks to that Apple TV Plus Black Friday deal. I like this song. I think it's a very sweet song. In some ways, it kind of feels like the type of song you would hear at a very, very nice cafe while snow is falling outside.
Jazz.
Exactly. And you're sipping a nice hot coffee and you're warming up your hands. So it makes me feel very cozy. That's a 3.5. I like this song. It might go up in the future too.
It's so nice because it feels both cozy and warm, but also cold and snow is falling. It works so well within the special as well. It's kind of like the recurring theme. And there's the vocal version and then there's the instrumental version, which comes back a few times. But yeah, just great. Love this song. This has always been one of my favorites.
Hell yeah. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Track number 10. Wham! Last Christmas. Chosen by me. This one was written and produced by George Michael. I have to say what I always say every time I hear this song. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. I don't know why he says gave you. He says gave later.
Yeah.
You gave it away, he says. But he says gave you my heart. And it's always weird to me. But shout out, I guess.
Hey, it's those 80s, drugs and stuff.
British. I had to I had to choose this song because it's a classic and it's one of the few songs that I actually do enjoy outside of Christmas. I feel like a lot of Christmas songs, I'm it's nice, but I'm not going to listen to it outside of that. And this to me feels like an after Christmas song too, that week when you're doing nothing until New Year's. This is the perfect song for that time.
Yeah, I get that.
For the 100th time, a minor key Christmas song is elite. The last verse and outro, I think, is really special. And then I wrote the most controversial thing I will say all episode. Low key, this is what Prince's 1999 wishes it was. 3.5.
Honestly, I can see it. I agree that this kind of feels like a post-Christmas song. Christmas, everything's going well, then your heart gets broken or whatever. So I do agree. I also want to say that I feel like when I was a kid, we would sing Last Christmas, I Gave You My Fart. But I don't know if I just came up with that now or if we actually did.
That sounds either is potential.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Sounds like me back then and right now.
For the record, David made a fart joke in the group chat today, so
Yeah. Support fart jokes, guys. But I do really like this song. I think it's a very good song. And I completely agree that it just works as a pop song by itself. You could listen in the summer. It wouldn't feel the same, to the same level, but it would still work really well. It's a classic. I don't have much else to say. It's a 4. I really like the song.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when we were making this list that you said you didn't like this song. And I thought I think you are thinking of a different song because everybody likes this song.
You know what else I might have been thinking about? I might have been thinking about how much they play this song. I feel like this is the second most replayed song after All I Want for Christmas Is You. So
I think probably.
yeah, that's what I might have been thinking about and been like, oh, I'm so tired of hearing it. I take back what I said back then. It was July. I wasn't in the Christmas spirit yet. That was what it was.
Track number 11, Andy Williams, Do You Hear What I Hear? This one was chosen by me. This is my last contribution. It was written by Gloria Shane Baker and Noel Regney. What a great name, Noel, for Christmas time.
Noel.
It was produced by Robert Mercy. I do not think that I hear what you hear because I hear an annoying ass song that shouldn't be as popular as it is. Fuck this song. I hate it so much. I always have. I wrote that in all caps. For what it's worth, Andy Williams has a great voice and has always been underrated in conversations with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin for these kind of classic crooners that we only talk about with Christmas music now. I hate this song, though. This is a 1.5.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, this is annoying.
I forgot that this was the song you chose as your least favorite song because I actually think this is a nice song.
Many do.
And I think this is like the best version of the song.
I will give you that. I do think this is probably the best version because I've heard some that are just nasty.
Kind of going back to what I was talking about before, it's performed simply. It just works. Christmas songs just work when they're simple. But yeah, I think obviously a classic. Not my favorite Christmas Carol. I think it's like a tier 3, but I still enjoy it. It's a 3.5.
That's fair.
It is a little repetitive, but I don't mind.
I just don't care about what they hear. I'll be honest. Because I'm hearing nothing that is interesting me.
Yeah. You're just telling them to like, shut the hell up. I don't want to hear what you hear.
Exactly. I'm sorry, Andy Williams. You have a great voice. This is not the song.
Yeah, no.
And it's also bad because somebody in my family likes it. I'm pretty sure it's my mom. But anyway, it's on like a Christmas CD that we would always listen to. And I just remember listening to the song. It's like 5 minutes long, that version of it. And it's just like, oh my God. Like, can we get on with the point, please?
I can see that getting annoying. 5 minutes? No.
Yeah, I also like, for what it's worth, Christmas is like now a religious holiday. I don't like the like Jesus-y songs that much. Like, I like the more like Christmas spirit kind of songs.
Yeah.
And this one just feels like it's from the Bible. And it's just like, I don't care.
I do agree with that. Yeah.
I think that also could be part of it. Anyway, we got one last song. Track number 12. Guy Lombardo, Auld Lang Syne. Chosen by David. Written by Robert Burns. And I said, props to me for putting this last because it's the New Year's song. And therefore, the perfect end to this year's Christmas mixtape. This is another song that feels so old in the best way possible. We should be listening to it on an old Victrola that spins slightly out of time. This is a 3.5. I never really have liked this song, but this version is incredible. It sounds so nice, and it sounds like the end of Christmas.
First of all, I want to say props to you for the way that you like put these songs in order because it works very well, and this is the perfect ending to the album. And I completely agree. This version is so good. I also want to say about the song itself, I feel like this is the type of song where you're like, oh my God, why are people listening to this old ass song that's like 200 years old? And then you listen to it and then you're like, oh damn, I can see why. And then I also wanted to say that this song was used so well in It's a Wonderful Life. And I can't wait to watch that movie one year for Christmas because that's the perfect Christmas movie too. And this is a 5 for me. I think this is also a perfect song. And that's not even like this version. I just in general think it's a perfect song. I think it perfectly gets me in like the mood for the Christmas time and the New Year's. It does kind of sound a little more like sad in the sense that it's like, oh, it's then like, you know, time has passed. We're getting older. We might not see each other for longer, stuff like that. But I kind of like that. I think it fits like New Year's and that period, like post-Christmas. And again, I do think that this version works really well. This is my favorite, my second favorite song on the whole album, and my second favorite carol of all time. Even though probably this is not even a carol and is like categorized as something else, but it counts for me.
I think this is probably a carol. It's like a folk song, and to me,
Right.
those are similar. You know?
Yeah, it's close enough. But yeah, this is a 5, ending on a great note for me.
Good. I was hoping
And
so.
a good note for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
This was a surprise to me because I've never really cared for this song that much, and there's something about this version that really captured me. So good job.
it.
You chose this version too, specifically.
I got you on my side. Nice. I forgot about this version, to be honest. So now I got to go and listen to it.
Well, that was our first installment of the Uncultured Pop Culture Christmas mixtape series.
That's right.
Maybe we'll do it again next year. We'll see what the audience thinks. And, you know, I had a lot of fun. I think it's fun to listen to a bunch of different artists. And this is like what I do. It's a playlist, you know, of just a bunch of different stuff. We are obviously not giving it an overall score.
Yeah.
But now we are going to give an overall score to everyone's favorite Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard.
Die Hard. I love this movie. I know we're not supposed to talk about that yet, but I love this movie so much. I'm gonna rein in the bit and start off with the IMDb logline because I want to know what you think. A New York City cop, John McClane, tries to save his estranged wife and several others taken hostage by terrorists during a Christmas Eve party at the Nakatomi Plaza. This is a Christmas movie. They say it in the frickin' logline. It's a frickin' Christmas movie. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. It's a Christmas movie. I think that's a pretty good log line. I feel like we're missing a little bit of the like, and struggle happens. Like, you know, like there's going to be something that happens, which, you know, I don't know that you necessarily need it. I feel like sometimes you do, but overall, I feel decent about this log line.
It works. It gets you ready. Oh, I forgot to finish the log line. I'm sorry. It's during a Christmas Eve party at the Nakatomi Plaza skyscraper in Los Angeles, California. Apologies. I didn't see the end of it right there.
That really doesn't.
It doesn't add
that much to it. No, it's fine.
But yeah, I'm happy with it. It works. It mentions Christmas, so it really reinforces that this is a Christmas movie. Fight me. So yeah, I feel like it gets the main points across, even if it doesn't fully get into the struggle of him walking over glass and all that.
I agree. Yeah.
But let's get the credits out of the way. This movie is directed by John McTiernan. It's produced by Lawrence Gordon and Joel Silver. The screenplay is written by Jeb Stewart and Stephen E. D'Souza, adapted from the novel Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe. I hate this word. The cinematography is done by Jan de Bont or John de Bont. I don't know how to correctly pronounce that. Apologies. It's edited by Frank J. Uriost. Apologies again. And John F. Link. And the music is composed by Michael Kamen. The movie was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Rest in peace. Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And stars Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, and a lot of other people. Yeah, it's sad seeing that 20th Century Fox logo at the very beginning of this movie.
Dun 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 dun
dun dun dun dun dun.
Yeah, it's so iconic. I can't believe
it is.
Like, I think Disney and 20th Century Fox are the two like most iconic ones. I feel literally nothing with Columbia Pictures. I will say that.
I will say the other iconic one is Universal.
Universal is good. I'd put it probably third.
I would put Disney probably for third. For me.
Okay, so wait, second would be Universal then, and first is 20th Century?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Although
I feel like that's fair.
If you go to like that VHS Disney logo from like the 90s, that kind of goes up to number one at that point, because that one is just a classic. You know, like the one where like the Walt Disney is written over the castle and that light blue background. That was my childhood. So
I like the castle one better, where they're zooming out and you get the flag when the music goes crazy.
That one is nice too.
That one I like that one a little bit better. Movies would always have the Buena Vista one too. Like if you got the old VHS ones, and that one sucks. Like it's so bad. And then you get the big like production of the Disney one. I'm forgetting one. What's the other one I'm forgetting?
Well, there's Warner Brothers, but theirs has always just been
Warner
like,
Brothers. I can't even tell you what that is.
It's typically the water tower.
I feel like I guess.
Like you see the studio and it ripples and then it turns into the logo or whatever in the sky. It's fine.
David Zaslav fixed that.
The Paramount one is also pretty good, but it's
Paramount. I haven't watched a Paramount movie in forever. We just watched one too, and that was I remember seeing like the mountain. I was like, whoa! I haven't seen this in like a year.
It's not that memorable. Oh, you know which one is an absolute classic though? To just extend this tangent further, New Line Cinema.
Oh, I kind of remember this. Yes,
it's like the bars from the sides of a film strip, like going and then I love that one too. But I feel like that's just tied to Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I also was
Yeah.
thinking of Walden Media in the pond, like the ripples in the pond. I think that one's pretty fun too.
I don't remember that one at this point, to be honest.
You didn't watch
I
enough
forgot.
Christian movies when you were a child.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyway,
Pretty much.
tangent over.
Anyways, tangent over. Because we need to talk about a man that was struggling as much as we are struggling right now. Because Jeb Stewart, who was one of the screenwriters, was going through a rough patch. He had a script that was picked up by Columbia Pictures that was abandoned, and he was under a contract to Disney that wasn't enough to cover the bills, so he was going through it. Even though, honestly, that sounds like the dream life to me because he's actually getting work as a screenwriter. But he was still struggling. He needed money. He was married. I'm not saying that marriage was the problem. He needed money and he was married. So he had like a lot of stuff to pay for.
He had someone else to support.
You do.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, he was not doing well. But he did have 6 weeks free between other contracted work to make some moolah. So he started looking around, started seeing what options he had. And luckily, the head of development at the Gordon Company, which is a producing arm of 20th Century Fox at the time, Lloyd Levine, was actually looking for a writer because he wanted to adapt the novel Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe. And he hired Stewart. And he pretty much gave him like free creative reign. He said, you can do whatever the hell you want, except that I want to keep the setting of Christmas in LA because it's a very interesting setting, which I do agree with. The novel is basically the same idea. Guy is in a building, terrorists take over, he has to save the hostages. But there are still a lot of differences. And while Jeb Stewart kept like the main idea, he changed a lot. So in the novel, the main character, his name is not John McClane, his name is Joe Leland. And he's actually a 60-year-old security consultant. Yes, 60 years old. And Stewart was like, that's not plausible that he's running around this building. So he changed him to New York cop in his 30s or 40s. Something else that he changed is that the book is a lot more nihilistic. So Leland is actually visiting his drug-addicted daughter at the building instead of his wife. And the daughter actually dies by falling with Hans Gruber at the end of the novel.
Whoa.
So that all went out. There's also the fact that the people working for Hans Gruber are naive guerrilla fighters who don't understand that he is manipulating them and using them. So that's also kind of darker. So Stewart was like, nah, I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it lighter, give it a lighter tone. He also expanded some characters. He expanded Powell, who is the cop that McClane talks to. He also gave Argyle an actual role towards the end of the film because in the novel, he just disappears after the beginning. But the biggest difference actually came from an unlikely source because Stewart was kind of having trouble figuring out the character of John McClane and what kind of drives him. And he figured it out thanks to the fact that he was having trouble with his marriage. He was working 18 hours at Disney with his contract, so he was coming home very, very on edge, and this would result in a lot of arguments with his wife. And so one day, after an argument, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to go driving to release some steam, because that's what we do in Los Angeles. We drive everywhere. And while he was driving on the freeway, he ran over a cardboard box. He couldn't dodge it, so he had to go over it. And thankfully, it was empty. But he realized that if it hadn't been empty, he could have potentially died. And when he pulled over, he kind of realized that his last words to his wife would have been the argument that they had. And he had this light bulb moment, and he went home and he apologized to her, while also getting the idea for the central theme to the script, that of a man who should apologize to his wife, but didn't have a chance because a catastrophe happened. So he kind of included that as John McClane's character arc based off his own life. And hey, that's what they say, write what you know. So he literally wrote what he knew. He wasn't the only writer, though, as you might have noticed, because Stephen E. D'Souza was brought on and he did a rewrite because he had a lot of experience blending action and comedy. And he, interestingly enough, approached the script as if Gruber was the protagonist. He said, quote, "If Gruber had not planned the robbery and put it together, McClane would have just gone to the party and reconciled or not with his wife. You should sometimes think about looking at your movie through the point of view of the villain who is really driving the narrative."
That's a great quote.
That's a great quote, because I want to say sometimes you got to look at your screenplay in a different way and not follow the quote unquote rules and make your villain the protagonist to make the story work very well. Like, he also incidentally wrote the scene where Gruber and McClane meet for the first time, which I do love. So eventually, they get John McTiernan and they go into casting. And who do you think they offer it to? Who's the first person that they go to?
I'm gonna be
Any guesses?
I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna say Harrison Ford, just because I feel like this is like this fits.
So that's actually a very good guess. But that first person that they actually went to is someone that we've talked about
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
today. No, we've talked about in this
Today?
podcast. Yes, in this episode.
Frank Sinatra?
Yes, 70-year-old Frank
Really?
Sinatra.
Oh my god!
They were contractually obligated to, because it turns out the novel they were adapting is a sequel to another novel that was turned into a movie with Frank Sinatra. And in the contract, it was written that they had to go to him if they adapted any of the other novels.
That is crazy! Wow,
It's crazy.
what a great connection. That might be one of my favorites ever.
I'm so thankful he turned it down, but honestly, it would have kind of been funny seeing like the 70-year-old Frank Sinatra like hobbling through and then calling the mafia to kill the terrorists or something. Like, it would have been crazy.
Shout out to the mafia.
Shout out
I
mafia.
guess.
You were right though, because they did also offer it to like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Gibson, all like the big action stars of the time, but they all turned it down for various reasons. I know Schwarzenegger was kind of trying to do his like switch to comedy movies that he was kind of successful at in the 90s. But eventually they did cast Bruce Willis, and it was very controversial. He was not known. He had been in one movie as the star, and that was a comedy movie. So he was not a very likely pick, but he did end up kind of being a blessing in disguise, because he portrayed McClane as an everyman thrust in a dangerous situation, which I think really helps the movie, because if they went with Schwarzenegger or Stallone, they would be, the typical 80s action star, these muscle-bound men that never get hurt and are totally fine.
Yeah, they're like larger than life.
That would not have worked with this film. I feel like you really need this everyman that just gets hurt and gets fucked up, but tries and tries again to save everyone. And he was actually paid quite a lot. Do you want to guess how much he was paid, even though this was only his second movie as a star?
I mean, I don't really know what the budget is, but I'm going to guess, when you say a lot, I was thinking like 1.5 million.
The budget was $25 to $30 million.
Okay, I feel good about that guess. 1.5 million.
He was paid $5 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, people are like, why the hell would they pay him that? And the production pretty much was like, hey, he's worth it. Like, he is the reason this movie is going to work, which is true. So honestly, shout out. I do think that's too much money for anyone to get paid. I don't care if you're the star, but when you're paid
yeah, that is a lot.
like 20% of the budget, that's too much, even though I do think he deserves to get paid very well. I also want to say Alan Rickman was cast after McTiernan saw him, and this is kind of a connection, in a stage production of Dangerous Liaisons, where he played Valmont. Yeah, little connection back there. And this is actually his first screen role ever. First time he ever appeared on screen at the age of 42.
I was thinking that's pretty old, because I saw that listed and I was like, there is no way that was his first screen role. Crazy.
Literally his first screen role. He'd obviously done a lot of theater, but this was his first screen role. And definitely why he didn't get bigger until the 90s, I guess you could say. But I did want to ask you, how real did the Nakatomi building look to you?
It looks pretty real. I mean, do you mean like the outside or like the interior shots?
Both, actually. Both outside and inside.
I mean, I would say outside, it looks like a 90s building. So it looked a little bit ahead of its time, which I think was fine.
Right.
Inside, I would say it felt small, but like that. It was also under construction. So, I mean, I feel I was okay with it. I feel like it was real enough, you know?
The reason why I asked you was because they filmed it all in a real building.
They did.
Obviously, a lot of stuff like was sets for the stunts, but they actually filmed it all at the Fox Plaza building in Century City that stands there today.
Is it 1200 Avenue of the Stars?
I believe it actually might be, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure that's the address they did there. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Fox. Like, well, I know they're in Century City.
And obviously, so like Fox is making the film. So that's the reason why they could use the building. But the other reason is because it was literally under construction while they were filming. So that's why in the movie, part of the building is under construction. And that's the only reason they were able to use it. Because obviously, if people are working there, you can't really film. But obviously, since it is under construction, there were rules. The first one was they could only shoot at night. And the building couldn't be damaged because of explosions. They were like, please don't destroy it. Like,
yeah.
Spent a lot of money. Don't
blow the top off the building.
Well, and I think it works well because that's why you kind of get to see like a stunning landscape of Los Angeles throughout the whole film. Like, it does work well. And I think it's better than if they had done it on a set somewhere. At least all the insides on the set.
Yeah, I agree.
I did want to say, Willis's first shot was literally jumping off the building with the fireman's hose around his waist. Obviously done as a stunt, but still kind of crazy.
Jesus, that's wild.
It was also quite difficult for him because most of the movie, he's just by himself. So he was just acting to like nothing and to stuff going on in different places. Ironically, the actors that played the terrorists and the hostages, meanwhile, spent so much time together that they became really, really friendly.
Is that the Helsinki syndrome that they were talking about in the movie?
Ironically, probably, yeah. It's the Helsinki or whatever syndrome.
Helsinki, Sweden.
Yeah.
Great joke.
I love that joke. I love the jokes in this movie. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but I do love the jokes.
I mean, I will say, like I always say, I wasn't expecting this because I know nothing about every movie. I literally had no idea this was going to be funny. Like, I was laughing out loud at some parts, and I was like, this is like genuinely a good time. Like, it's very funny, and most of it holds up still, too.
I feel like that's why this movie works so well to this day. Like, because it's funny, and you're watching, like, these crazy situations. Like, it just goes so well. And it just makes you happy, you know?
It is almost like a sitcom at some points, because it's like the situations that they're getting themselves into are just insane.
Especially with the reporters.
Yeah, but it feels like almost real, kind of, too. Like, it's believable enough.
I feel like that's partially because it's more grounded than other 80s action movies, and there is comedy. So in a way, it kind of alleviates the absurdities and makes it feel more real. I completely agree with that, yeah. And I think that's why it's still, like,
for sure,
loved to this day. Now, we do got to talk about the stunts a little bit. They built, like, sets for stunts because obviously they're shooting out glass, stuff like that. This was at a point in time when stunts were kind of a big issue. They were very scrutinized because the Twilight Zone movie incident had only happened 4 years earlier, which I don't know if you know what this is, but pretty much, and I would just want to say screw the director that directed that movie, John Landis, because he sounds like a really bad person. To just quickly let you know, a stunt went wrong in that movie that resulted in 2 child actors and actor Vic Morrow actually being decapitated by a helicopter blade. So that put a lot of Hollywood movies in scrutiny when it came to the safety on set. In spite of this, Willis did decide to do a lot of his own stunts, but obviously they were like very on trying to make everything as safe as possible, considering that the Twilight Zone movie incident had only happened 4 years earlier. I did want to say the SWAT vehicle that you see in the movie is an actual LAPD SWAT vehicle. They spent months negotiating with them to get it to drive up the steps of the Fox building, even though LAPD was probably not doing anything with it anyways because they're lazy as hell.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I mean, a part of me hopes that they actually blew it up, but I know they didn't.
Yeah, we can hope at least. I also want to say this is probably the best representation of LAPD, or at least of the chief, considering how inept they are.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up at some point because, wow, like they did things. I was impressed because all of my interactions with the LAPD when I lived there was them blaming you for everything that happened to you.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, like, I think in a lot of ways it is realistic to life, considering how terrible the chief is in the movie, and also how when they literally get a call from McClane telling them that terrorists are taking over a building, they're like, it's nothing.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like that's very realistic to life. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
The idea that it just takes one police officer who cares, I think, is also a very like realistic thing, because especially when you get to these large departments, it's like no one gives a shit. But this guy, Powell, actually cared.
Literally.
And he was given a reason to care. And I think that was a good portrayal as well of, like, there are sometimes good cops. I don't necessarily hold that view myself, but, you know, it's nice to think about sometimes.
It's nice to hope. Pretty much.
Exactly.
The only thing is, if there are good cops, they probably are not in the LAPD. That's all I'm going to say.
Amen.
But, amen. There was actually a mistake left in the film with one of the stunts. I would try and make you guess, but I feel like it's so specific that it's kind of impossible to guess. It was in the scene where McClane falls down the elevator shaft and like grabs onto the ventilation shaft. The stunt double performing that scene actually missed the first ventilation shaft and fell further. Luckily, he was able to grab onto another one, but he went a lot further than he was supposed to go. And they were just like, hell, that looks really realistic. Let's keep it in the film.
I did notice that, but I didn't think anything of it.
It feels like something they would have planned for, like something that was done specifically, I feel like.
Yeah,
you know?
like he's going to go inside of a vent somewhere. So, like, why not that one? You know, that didn't really affect me, I guess.
It is definitely like a thing of like, damn, like that poor person might have lost their life or something. But it all worked out good.
Literally, yeah.
My last point on filming is talking about Gruber's death. I keep on wanting to say MacGruber.
MacGruber.
Because it's so similar.
It's McTiernan and McClane. You know,
literally.
It's
Irish like mode. It would have been perfect, the holy triumvirate, you know? But no, it's Gruber. Because Rickman actually performed that stunt. And the way that they did it was they had like a little set that was the window. Then they had a drop, and at the bottom was like a blue screen airbag so that they could comp everything in. And that way Rickman would obviously have something soft to fall on. I don't know how big the drop was. I saw anything from 20 feet to 70 feet, which is kind of crazy, but you never know. Before they were filming it, McTiernan went to Rickman and he was like, hey, we're going to count to 3 and then we're going to drop you. But when they actually filmed it, they went 1, 2, and then Rickman was dropped. Because, as McTiernan said, quote, there was no way he could fake that, end quote. He wanted to get a genuine reaction of like fear at the fact that he's being dropped. So he dropped him early.
I appreciate that, as long as he doesn't get hurt.
Yes.
Like, if he were to get hurt because of that, it's like, oh man. But, you know, there is something to be said about directors making their actors have real reactions. I mean, we talked about this
100%.
Specifically Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as well. Like, there is something about, like, not being able to fake a performance in that moment, which is kind of cool.
I do completely think that this does add something to the movie. You know, you can see that it is genuine. Even though, obviously, if it had gone wrong, it would have been bad. Like, I would not have supported it. But I think since they were doing it, you know, in a safe environment, it's all right. I think it does cross the line once you're putting your actors in literal danger, like freaking, what's his name, shooting guns off next to people on the Exorcist set. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, God, that was messed up.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
I still think about that sometimes. It's like, wow, that's one of the craziest set stories we've had on the podcast.
I do want to say, Die Hard was a movie that no one thought was going to be a success. Everyone was like, you have this random guy starring, you know, it's this random action movie. There are other action movies coming out in 1988, so it's not going to be a success. You had a Rambo movie coming out. Everyone was like, oh, damn, Rambo's going to like wipe the floor with Die Hard. So this is not going to be a success. But it actually ended up working out because it, in a way, maybe it was a type of like counter programming where it was different enough to Rambo where it worked, because it ended up grossing 139 to $141 million, and it became the 10th highest grossing film of 1988, which was a monumental year because it was the first year that the box office broke $1 billion.
Wow.
But yeah, Die Hard was a success. And a large part of that was actually that people were having so much fun watching it in theaters that it got amazing word of mouth with audiences. So that's kind of why it was a success versus Rambo, which still made more money, but like people don't remember that movie as much now because I think it was one of the sequels.
I did want to ask you, because I don't think you've mentioned it, maybe you didn't, it just went over my head. When did this movie come out in the year? Was it around Christmas?
Well, ironically, it was July 12th. That's when it came out in Los Angeles.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
It's very random. I don't know if it would have been as successful in the like around Christmas, just because you never ever know. But it doesn't make that much sense that they release this in summer instead of winter. And maybe that's why some people are like, oh, it's not a Christmas movie, even though I think it is.
No, I will definitely say this is 100% a Christmas movie. And I'm glad we did this for our first Christmas movie because...
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
It is. Like literally from... What is it? The opening shot or like the second scene? There's the big Christmas tree and they're talking about, oh yeah, we're so thankful for our Christmas party for all of our employees.
Literally like half the soundtrack is like Christmas songs and carols.
Yes, that too. Yeah.
I completely think that this is a Christmas movie, even though it came out in July.
Christmas in July, you know what they say.
That's right. You know what they say. Plus, I bet they were like, it's an action movie. We have to release it with the other action movies. Even though...
Right. This is a summer movie because people get killed.
Exactly. Ironically, the other movies were comedies. Like, I think Coming to America and Who Framed Roger Rabbit were the movies in theaters at the time. So it's also like, maybe they were like, oh, there aren't that many like action movies, so we should release it then. I don't know. But regardless, it was a success because people really loved it. But while people loved it, critics were kind of just like, they were very lukewarm. Because as everyone knows, critics are stupid.
Amen. Sorry, I was taking a drink.
Yeah, they were pretty split. They liked Rickman, they liked the directing, but they were split on McClane, and they didn't like the stunts and action, which I'm like, what? Like, it's done so well in this movie. I don't get it.
It's done, yeah, really well. Some of the best stunts and action I've seen in a movie.
I really don't understand.
I mean, that's why we're not critics, you know, because we're smart.
I mean, in the long run, it doesn't really matter because this movie has been obviously critically reevaluated and is now considered one of the greatest action movies ever made by both critics and audiences. It also redefined action movies in Hollywood. We kind of talked about this before. You know, you have a protagonist who is an everyman who actually gets hurt versus like, you know, these muscle-bound guys that never get hurt, which were typical in the 80s, you know, with Schwarzenegger and Stallone. So this movie definitely helped to move action movies away from the typical 80s style. You also have Gruber, who is a very intelligent and cunning villain, which is also something that this movie kind of introduced, because a lot of the villains from before were very bland, very like stock characters that couldn't really go toe to toe with the protagonist. So in a lot of ways, this movie really kind of pushed action movies forward and started a lot of trends that we would see in the 90s and early 2000s. And it's as popular as ever. It's, you know, people rewatch it every single year. This is the second time I've personally seen it, and I will rewatch this every single film or every single year for sure because I love it.
I want to ask, was the first time you saw it around Christmas or not?
Ironically, no. I saw this back in March because I was like, I should have watched this. Yeah. No, I know. But hey, I will rewatch this every Christmas because it's so much fun. It's also very influential culturally. Obviously, to your opener, you know, to point to your opener, Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker is everywhere. And things like his sweaty tank top in the film, McClane's sweaty tank top, like that's iconic now, even though you never think that a tank top would get iconic. And my last point is...
I mean, hey, you could sweat through a tank top
true.
And make it iconic too. I mean, maybe we should be
Hey, maybe that
merch.
should be the live show.
Ooh, yes. One of us takes off our shirt, the other one sweats through a tank top.
Yes, I love it. I love it. That's perfect. and steps on glass. Maybe not that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Fake glass, Hollywood type of glass,
It's like that rubber glass.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that gummy
That's
glass.
what I was thinking of. Yeah.
I like that. And to kind of finish our discussion of the film before I get to my questions for you, this movie did catapult Willis to fame. He became a star after this. He obviously went on to, Pulp Fiction, The Sixth Sense, and like 20 bajillion Die Hard sequels. So this movie really catapulted him up. And I wanted to say, I've seen some of the videos of him now. He is obviously has, I believe, Alzheimer's or dementia. And I just wanted to say, I hope he's doing okay. And I feel for him and his family because that's a terrible thing to be going through.
Got to end our discussion on a sad note like usual.
Literally. Every single episode, man. You can't just have like a good thing.
Every week, yeah. You're killing me, Smalls.
What can I say? I bet when we cover that movie, it's going to be something sad at the end too. I don't know. We'll see.
Probably, yeah.
But I did have to ask you because obviously everyone knows this film. It's so significant. So I got to ask you, did you know about this film before you watched it? Did you know anything about it? And do you consider it to be a Christmas movie, which we have both kind of answered already?
Yes. I knew Bruce Willis. I knew Yippee-Ki-Yay Motherfucker. And I knew that it was a Christmas movie, allegedly. I can now confirm that it is, in fact, a Christmas movie.
Nice.
And that was about the extent that I knew. I did not know this took place in LA. I would have assumed it was, since it's a skyscraper, you would think New York, because that's where the skyscrapers are. LA doesn't have that many, weirdly.
They went to the only place that they do have it, Century City.
Literally. LA's second downtown, I think that's what they call it. It was, of course, very different than what I thought. I didn't know most of the angles of everything, and I've heard Hans Gruber as like a German name, like as like a stand-in for like a basic German character. And I did not know that was from this movie. I had no idea. And I also have to shout out Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All. Anyone from Wisconsin knows what I'm talking about. He is everywhere. He's the main sponsor of all of our sports here. And yeah, and Gruber. So shout out. His name is David, by the way.
Oh, shout out. I was going to say, he's kind of like they call Jacob guy from LA. If you're from LA,
I was going
to
say Sweet James or Larry H. Parker.
Well, okay, there's a lot. There's Larry H. Parker,
R.I.P.
Sweet
Larry
James.
H. Parker.
That's right, R.I.P. There's Call Jacob.
There's the
and
Amigo.
The Amigo, I was going to say. There's the Amigo who we're
by
a
the
big fan
airport
of.
specifically.
Because he has the craziest posters. Yeah.
The Bitmoji billboards are wild.
Yeah.
By LAX.
I'm sure you've seen it. If you're from LA, you know like all the people that we listed 100%.
I'm Team Sweet James personally because I just love that. It's so funny. Sweet James.
I am team, I don't know. They're all so good. Honestly, I'll go with the Amigo.
This isn't technically, well, actually, I don't know if it is a lawyer, but my favorite billboards I ever saw in LA were Lemon Daddy.
Oh, I
Loved
remember
those.
that. I don't even know what those are for.
It's for, I think it's lemon law for like when your car sucks.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure it does count as a lawyer. But there was always one I would see on Parthenia in Panorama City, and it was there, and it changed multiple times because I took that route to go to my Aldi when I lived out there in the valley, and it would change like every few months, and it would still be Lemon Daddy. It would be slightly different with a more and more flamboyant looking man.
I love that. That's funny.
Shout out.
Shout out to
I wonder if it's still there. So anyway, I enjoyed this movie. I'll say that. Do you have more questions for me, or should I get into my tirade, I guess?
Well, I was going to ask, because obviously this is a movie that's famous for blending action with comedy. So I wanted to know, do you think it was successful at that? Do you think like the action was good and the comedy was good, or did one kind of overshadow the other? Did it work pretty much? They
were both great. And I think they both elevated each other so much, because if this was just a straight action movie, it's like, cool, it is a good action movie. If this was just a straight comedy, it's a good comedy. But I think having both of them together actually made this into something that was bigger than either one of those genres. I did not know there was this much comedy in it. I did not know that I was going to laugh like every 3 minutes out loud. Like there are moments in this movie that are like laugh out loud funny. A lot of them have to do with Powell and his interactions with the LAPD and FBI and all of those people, because you know, cops are going to be cops and be stupid and essentially useless.
It's either that or like when they cut to Argyle and he's
Yes.
just listening to stuff and shit like that. And I just love that so much.
Yeah, Argyle is
Yeah.
a great character, and I was hoping he would come back and like play a part
Yeah.
when I first saw him in the beginning. And I was like, it feels like the type of movie where he will eventually like have a part to play. And I will say, the romance overall, I was kind of like, whatever. I appreciate that they put a big amount of like weight on that for the story. I don't think it's necessarily the most important part of the story, but it was nice to also have that because there are a lot of different layers to this story. It's not just one specific thing. And then I also had to say, for an action movie to have a well-defined plan that is explained to you for your villains,
Yeah.
and then it turns out that that plan is actually not even the main plan, and this other plan that is even more well-developed that you wouldn't see coming
Yeah.
works. Like, in the fact that it all works and they still lose is kind of like the perfect script for an action movie.
Oh, I completely agree. I love the fact that these villains are actually smart. And I also love the fact that like all this kind of supporting villains have their own sort of shtick going on.
Yes.
Like they actually like, you can see how they would be successful and how they play the LAPD like a fiddle. I also did want to say to your point about like the romance, it is very like, it's very basic. And it is a very basic idea of McClane just realizing that he should apologize to his wife. But I do like it because I feel like it makes him feel more like a person
Definitely.
rather than like an action movie archetype.
Yes, or like a stereotype of a cop.
Yeah, literally. Like you would never find that in like another, an earlier like 80s action movie that's like one of these big muscled guys. Like he has actually something more to him than just, oh, I'm a cop that's going to save these people, which I do like. I also wanted to talk about the comedy and the action. I think that is hands down the reason why this film does work so well, because they balance each other out so much that it just turns it into such a fun experience. Like it's thrilling and fun at the same time without like losing either of those elements. And I feel like that kind of makes it the ultimate action film because it's not just tense and it's not just funny. It's both. So I feel like you're going back and forth between like the two best feelings that an action movie can give you. So that's kind of why I think it does work so well.
This to me is what it seems like Marvel was trying to capture with the Deadpool franchise of like, it's both funny and relatable, but also like
And
a
it
big
doesn't
action
work
movie.
as well.
Exactly. I feel like this kind of is the blueprint though that people need to follow if they're going to try to like attempt to do action movies for the future. Because a lot of action movies now just aren't good. I mean, there was one that was a huge flop that I saw on the side of buses everywhere in LA in the spring. And it just was not good. I think I actually know it was a Lionsgate movie because they have been failing for the past like 2 or 3 years.
I'm trying to remember.
But it doesn't
I don't
matter.
even remember,
That's
to be honest.
exactly because it had literally no impact. But that's kind of my point is we're not trying to do this anymore, which, you know, it's hard to do this. I feel like this is kind of that's a testament to how good the writers are.
100%.
So,
well, yeah, that's the thing that's missing the most. Like a plan, like a good script that you actually stick to. Because it does feel like at this point, Marvel thinks that the way to make a movie like this is to slap together action and then make all the dialogue quips.
Yes.
Which is not the way you do this.
Exactly.
Like you need actual tension and you need actual like jokes that are funny that don't like overshadow everything. Because like not all the dialogue is jokes either. Like there is actual like heartfelt moments. There's like tense moments. Like all of it works together instead of all just being quips. So yeah, I completely agree with that. We're missing this. I feel like that's why people rewatch this so much because we're literally missing it like
no, 100%.
Today, sadly. My last point that I did want to ask was, what you think of Alan Rickman? Would you have guessed that this is literally his first like on-screen role?
I would not have guessed. He's the perfect villain. Like it comes down to his voice too. Some people just have that villain voice.
Yeah,
oh my God,
he
it's
has
so
the
good.
Voice.
Yeah, no, I definitely would not have guessed this is his first film role because he was really good in it.
He is so good in this film.
Totally believable.
He is one of those actors. I remember when we were talking about Seven,
Seven.
that's right. Sorry. We talked about how Morgan Freeman is one of those actors that is amazing in everything he's in and is just like a joy to watch. Alan Rickman is one of those actors for me. And he just seems like an amazing person. And, I know like...
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in other things, I will say. But he is definitely the type where he's so intense and you can tell how much he loves acting.
I can't wait for you to see him in other things because he is such a good actor. And I think a part of it is that, well, first of all, he's a great actor. So obviously, like, all of his characters are different. But I feel like a part of his personality does kind of shine through where he seems like just such a genuinely wonderful person. Even when he plays a villain like Hans Gruber, you still love him. And I think that's why he is so beloved and why I adore him as an actor. And he is one of the people that I wish I met before he passed away. And I just want to say, may rest in peace, him and David Bowie, who died same year, same age, and from cancer, both of them. That's the last question I have, to be honest. I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to Alan Rickman. Do you have any other general thoughts? And what is your score?
I guess my only other general thought is I will rewatch this.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I wrote down something that kind of compares it to another movie that I had a similar reaction to. And that movie is Jaws.
Nice.
Because it's the type of movie that I was going into thinking it's a classic. Everybody likes it. I'm probably not going to like it because it doesn't seem like there's enough to the movie for it to have that much of an interesting story. Like knowing what little I did about this movie, it's like, he's breaking into a building. He's going to save people. Who cares? Everybody does that. Like that's been done to death.
Yeah.
This turns out to be much like Jaws, a movie that I would not have expected liking this much. And it gets the same score as Jaws. This is a 4 out of 5. There's a chance.
Yes. I'm so happy.
I feel like maybe it could go up to a 4.5. I feel like probably not because I am so stingy with my scores that a 4.5 really has to blow me away. But this is a really high 4 because this was like actually incredible. This is up there with the movies that we've watched on the podcast so far. And I never would have expected that because I don't even really like action films that much. But there is something so special about this one.
It definitely gets you because going into this, I had obviously heard a lot about this movie. I like action movies. I enjoy them, even though I don't like go to them too much. So I was kind of like, okay, this is probably going to be like solid. But it genuinely blew me away. It's just so well done. And it's so much more than you think it's going to be that it just like, it's better than you could have ever imagined, pretty much. I completely agree with that. This movie, for me, it is a 4.5, but it's very close to getting a 5. I'm kind of in the same boat where you are.
Wow.
Because in a way,
Nice.
I do think that it is a perfect film. Like, I don't know what I would improve. Like, there's nothing to improve.
I agree. Yeah. That's kind of why I'm like, maybe it should be higher. I feel like part of that is the genre that I'm like, I'm not going to watch an action movie all the time.
And that's kind of where I'm at too.
It is like, there are no problems with it.
That's
you know?
the thing.
Like there's nothing I would change to make
And
it
for
better.
me, it definitely is like the bias of like, I'm not as interested in action movies, but at the same time, I'm like the fact that I'm not that interested in action movies and I want to rewatch this all the time.
Yeah.
Might also be a reason why it should also be a 5.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Exactly. I 100% agree. And I also did want to say one other thing I thought before I watched this is it's 2 hours and 12 minutes, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, there is no way it can be good because of that length. An action movie should be like an hour 40 tops. Like you don't have that much to say. And it ended up being like, this did not feel like two hours at over 2 hours at all. It's so fast and so much happens despite it being in this one building and kind of like a smaller story overall, you know?
It never slows down and it never feels like it's going too fast. It has the perfect pace for this type of movie. We ended on such a great note.
A massive unexpected twist to how I thought this episode would go. But yeah, big fan. And highly recommend
100%
this Christmas when everyone's with their family to watch this movie and see what everyone else thinks and have the debate. Is this a Christmas movie with your family? Because it is. I mean, I'm going to settle it right now.
It 100%
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I agree. Hey guys, it's almost Christmas. So I think it's a perfect time to go tell your family to go together, go sit on the couch, find it on Hulu or
HBO Max, I think it's also on there.
and just have an amazing time, because I think that this movie is a movie that most, if not all people, will just have a great time with.
Yes, especially for people who aren't fans of action, because this is not
Yes.
your typical action movie. And
100%.
I feel like anyone who likes movies will like this movie. Even if you think it's not that great, you will still enjoy it.
Jinx.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a fun time all around.
Literally.
On that note, I wanted to say one thing before we wrap up the episode. You may have noticed by now, when you clicked play on this episode, that we had another episode come out today. Surprise.
That's right.
That is our Christmas present to you.
A little gift.
Yes, it is part 1 of our 2-part episode, our year in review of 2025. We hope that you will enjoy it. You don't have to play it right now, but I would recommend playing it right now because it's going to be amazing. I can tell you that much. But before we get there, we do have to tell you, thank you so much for streaming Uncultured Pop Culture this year. It has been a wild ride. We have been through everything. We have been through some of the worst movies that I've ever watched in my life and some of the best movies I've ever watched in my life.
Literally.
We've listened to so much music. We didn't even do an album today. We have so much music to listen to yet this season. I just wanted to say happy holidays to everyone because, this is our Christmas focused episode. But if you don't celebrate Christmas, we also love you still. It's okay.
Or maybe your Christmas already happened or is going to happen in January or something.
That is very true. Yeah, who knows when you're listening to this episode, not album. Oh my God, I'm doing it now. You've infected my mind.
You're doing it again.
I'm thinking of too many things.
It's just the Christmas cheer.
It is, yes. The Christmas cheer from Jolly David and whatever we said my nickname was at the beginning of the episode. I don't remember.
Brandalf.
Brandalf, yes. Thank you.
Honestly, I'm very proud of that name now.
That is good. I like it. Maybe we'll continue it next episode. But before you listen to that next episode, make sure you rate the podcast, leave a comment, give us an email, upcpod@gmail.com. Check out our link tree, which has all of our links to everything, including the playlist for this week that you can listen to, our 12 songs. You can follow along with us in order. You don't have to search for them. We are so thoughtful.
And last of all, don't forget to check out that Instagram to get updates on what episodes are coming out. You can see what next week's episode is going to be, which, hint, hint, it's tied to our bonus episode.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a part 2, perhaps?
And last of all, tell your family, tell your friends. It's the time of being with them, spending time with them. So share some Christmas cheer with them. If you want to send this episode so they can hear about how they should really watch Die Hard with you and listen to some Christmas music.
Exactly.
And I think that's it.
Thank you so much for tuning into our Christmas episode. There will be many more Christmas episodes in the years to come. We will see you in probably about a minute or so when you hit play on the next episode that is out right now.
Go listen.